Hey, I should be up and alive here, folks. It's hopefully we'll have people trickling in here. As you can see, I'm back home. I thank you all so much for all the outpouring of well wishes that I received, from when I was in the hospital. I'm nowhere near 100% yet by any way, shape, or form, but I am home, and that in itself is a great thing. It definitely helps to lift the spirits. So, once again, I just want to thank everybody for your well wishes. All right. I'm going to kind of take things slow today, answer your questions regarding your automotive maintenance. I know that there are probably a lot of you out there also that have questions for me regarding Carl. Perhaps I'll get to some of that if, as long as we keep things civil amongst ourselves. Mike Smith, it's good to see you as well. Good to have you on board. Hope that there will be others joining you as you come in, folks. Please say hello. Let me know you're here so that we can continue to chat. Uh, one of the reasons that I'm not doing anything, first off, it's been, very blustery and windy, and you probably heard about the coastal floods up here in the Long Island area. So, it's not conducive to me going out and doing anything live right now. However, I do have some surprises and some tricks up my sleeve yet as to what I'm going to do to, improve the channel. I was talking with my mechanic, who reminds me very much of myself in my younger years starting out, and he's expressed some interest in, going on with me and, letting me come down to the shop and videotape repair work and stuff that he does and show you how he does diagnosis and stuff like that. And, I'm really looking forward to getting that up and running. However, I got to get myself back into some healthy condition here before I can go down and do that. I think one of the reasons that I landed myself in the hospital was that I overexerted myself a bit when I was out there on Sunday, doing those breaks. It didn't appear like I was overexerting myself, but that's the way things happen with me. Is all of a sudden I go sour, and things head downhill very rapidly from there. So I think I'm going to leave the repair work to the younger guys for a while, and I'll stick to trying to diagnose things based upon my knowledge and experience. Let's see who else is out there right now. Let's see, King of Chuck. Good to see you. Let me see who else came on here. I'm just going to back up here a little bit. Mike, I think I said hello to you, Waukesha Pilot. Yes, I'm feeling much better. Thank you. It's good to be home. As I said before, I'm not 100% by any means, but, being home is great for uplifting the spirits. Richard Williams, good to see you. King of Chuck, good to see you as well. Alexander, hey guys, good to have you on board. All right. Anybody have any car questions for me while we're here? Let's venture that. I mean, after all, that is what this channel is all about. If not, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about, what's going on with my ride right now, as I have had some, not really problems with it, but, stuff that has to be attended to, maintenance issues, things like that. I've got a New York State vehicle inspection coming up here in January, and, getting the brakes done, getting tires for it, getting it tuned up and making sure it's running properly so that it'll meet emissions once again. That all has to be attended to. So my car is with my mechanic Joshua right now. His shop is called Everything Automotive, and they're located on Merrick Road and Valley Stream in Long Island. He is a very, very good mechanic. I find him to be very go-getting, very honest and forthright with you. He doesn't beat around the bush. He tells you just the way it is, good news or bad, and then gives you a plan for attacking the problem, which is the way it should be done. And I admire that in him, and think that he's a very good mechanic from all aspects. Not just the way he operates his business, but the way he is and the experience he has in diagnosing issues. He's very good with computer controls and things like that. Uh, In any case, my car started acting up. I knew for a while that I was probably going to have to put new ignition coils in the car, and there are 8 of them, one for each spark plug. It's a plug over system in which the coils actually sit on top of the plug. There is no spark plug wires. There is a computer harness that connects to those, and through the computer, it determines when the plugs will fire. Hey, Alexander, I see you saying hello again. Smoking, good to see you. Let's see. Long life oils. Okay, Mike. Long life oils. There you go. How's that? Century, hello. King of Chuck, saying hello to everybody. It's good to see the little community we have here. Uh, I'll get into that later on as we get into the broadcast, but it's terrific that we have been able to put together this little community of ours. Uh, I find it very rewarding, and I get a sense of reward from it. In any case, as I said, I knew that I was going to need to put, new ignition coils in my car. So I have it at my mechanic. I also have it there. He's going to do the rest of the brakes for me on it by completing out the rear brakes. And doing that, there were a couple of other things I wanted to attend to get it ready for winter, like lubing the window tracks and the door hinges and things like that. The trunk hinges, the hood latches, and things. Just standard maintenance items that need to be attended to, and I don't necessarily have the time nor the fortitude to attack some of these problems anymore. As I'm finding as I get older and I have more issues with my health, it's definitely affecting my ability to be able to do the things I used to be able to do, and that bothers me. But I've got to come to accept it that I can only do what I can do. Let's see. In any case, while he's there, or I should say, while the car is there at Joshua's shop, he informed me that Ford has an update for the computer that has to be flashed in. Now, how do you go about doing that when you don't have the car at a Ford dealership? There are ways of going about it, folks. Ford charges a lot of money for you to come into their shops and for you to get these updates and things like that. You know, it's not cheap by any way, shape, or form. However, what you can do is that if you are a professional mechanic, you can purchase a day license from them that allows you to flash, their information onto your hard drive on your car's computer. Just like you'd get a Windows update, that has to be uploaded to your system. It's the same principle. You buy the license, you upload, the update. Some of these updates allow you to go in and tweak a little bit so that you can improve the performance and fine tune, the engine yourself. I am not familiar with that as far as Ford goes. Ford usually is very proprietary and only allows you what they'll give you. GM is a little bit more forthcoming with that stuff. Uh, but nevertheless, these are all things that can be done if you know what you're doing. I am not as savvy as Joshua is by any way, shape, or means as far as that stuff goes. Was old school, was raised old school, kept up with it as long as I needed to keep up with it. And when I left the business, I kind of stopped going to school and learning the new technology. But that's not to say that I don't know a lot and can't still do quite a bit. So that's the way things stand there. Uh, I hope the audio and all that is good. I suppose if it wasn't, you'd let me know. Hopefully the video quality is okay. I don't seem to show any problems here. Everything looks good at my end. Let me go back here to the chat. Wood Beast, it's great to see you on too. Okay, Mike Smith has a question about oil change intervals. I've always been told the recommended intervals are produced by running a vehicle constantly under ideal conditions, but general use intervals should be shortened. I'm going to tell you what my recommendations are, Mike. Okay, as a mechanic of 35 years, I was always taught that if you're using a conventional motor oil, to change it out every 3,000 miles with the filter. All right, that's good sound advice. The reason oils wear out is because they become overloaded with contaminants and then they break down and they don't maintain their properties as well as they were when they were new. All right, with synthetic oils, they do maintain their properties for a better, for an extended period of time compared to conventional oils. However, they still become overloaded with those same contaminants, usually carbon, and that gums up the works eventually and causes sludge in an engine. The best way of avoiding sludge, which is an engine's number one enemy, is to keep the oil changed regularly. All right, so I'll recommend 3,000 miles for conventional oils. For synthetic oils, I'm going to tell you every 5 to 6,000 miles. Hope that answers your question, Mike. Okay, Stuart asks, how come I cannot get good FM signal on my Mercedes? Your antenna may not be plugged in. Sometimes these things rattle around. I don't know what kind of roads you're driving over, but sometimes these antennas can come loose from the back of the head unit, and you may not get a good signal that way. I don't know where you're located in the country, too. And as far as what FM signals are available to you, if you have problems generally pulling in an FM signal, you might think about going to your local stereo shop and having them install an antenna amplifier for you. That will definitely help improve your signal. Okay, hope that helps. All right, Stuart, I hope that that answer helped. Mike Smith, do you have an opinion on hydrogen generators that people are making and retrofitting to a car? Interesting you ask me that because I dabbled a little bit with some of these, very small hydrogen generators, as an automotive instructor, when I went to summer seminars. Ohio Technical College hosted those seminars, and they actually had people come in from NASA with mini generators that we were able to adapt, and put on a model car and operate a model car with the hydrogen generator. I don't think they're any more dangerous than gasoline-powered cars. I think the technology that we have for encapsulating the hydrogen and containing it is pretty safe these days. However, in an accident, it's a different matter. We all know that hydrogen is very explosive. People hear the word hydrogen and right away they think of the atomic bomb. And, it's hard to break people of that paradigm. Hydrogen is not as dangerous as we make it out to be. We use it, regularly for various, industrial applications. And, we've had a minimum number of accidents with it. And the accidents have not been horribly catastrophic. But like I said, the word hydrogen brings bad things to people's minds. Okay. I think hydrogen down the road, possibly the future, but I think the electric vehicle is on its way back in a very big way. And that's going to come before we have hydrogen generated vehicles on the road. Yes, the internal combustion engine is numbered. The days for it are numbered simply because we do not have an endless supply of petroleum. It just isn't out there, folks. Yes, our technologies to retrieve petroleum from the ground have become more and more technically advanced over the years, which is why we haven't run out as of yet. But eventually, the time is going to come. And when that time comes, everybody is going to be scrambling for an alternative source. And, I think hydrogen generation is going to be one of those sources. I think methanol and alcohol fuels are going to become another big part of it. All right. Where we go from there is anybody's guess. I mean, new technology comes along every day. Hopefully, we'll have another couple of geniuses who will take society down that primrose path and into the future. All right. Woodbeast asks, what does the flash update for your car change? What it does basically is it puts a tune-up on the engine. All right, it enables you to change engine timing in relation to camshaft positioning in relation to throttle position, uh, load on the engine, so on and so forth, so that you're getting the best performance from your engine, both power output wise and economically. All right. That's what these flash updates are about primarily. All right. They're there to correct, errors and problems that the original programmers, didn't see when they first programmed these vehicles. And it's there to get the vehicle to run, in a better state. Okay. So I hope that answers that question for you, Woodbeast. All right. King of Chuck. Tesla is sure forcing the major car companies to accelerate their electric car programs. Yeah, it is very interesting, what Elon Musk is doing, with the Tesla line, although his politics lately is killing him. He's getting himself in a lot of trouble. And, that bothers me, and I'm sure it bothers his stockholders as well. Uh, Bill, you may be kidding, but there's a lot of truth to that statement of using Western oil. And it does have a funny smell when you burn it. They burn it in biodiesels. All right. Biodiesel engines can run on basically any waste cooking oil. And when they go down the road, they actually smell like French fries cooking because that's the smell of the byproduct as it comes out of the exhaust. It's it's kind of strange. I've witnessed a lot of it when I was driving tractor trailers out west. They're very big into their biodiesel out there. Willie Nelson is into it and all that. And God bless Willie, man. He's the ultimate Texan, and he's still partying hardy after all these years. God bless him. So yeah, it's interesting when you say Western oil because you can run Western oil. All right. You can run, like I said, any type of cooking oil through a biodiesel. Okay. Yeah, Italian cars use olive oil. I like that one, Woodbeast. Yeah, would that be extra virgin or Hey, Biker Coyote, what's happening, brother? It's good to see you. All right. Yeah, it's good to be up and around, brother. It's good to be home. Okay, Stuart asks Doug, how about those folks that put a jar of water under the hood plugged up to something to improve gas mileage? That was a big thing back in the, I guess late 60s, early 70s, about the time of the gas crunch. There were water injection systems for sale in the back of the car magazines that they claimed would help improve the, performance and the gas mileage that you got from your vehicle. And, you know, uh, I don't see them around much anymore, but I see people starting to talk more and more about them again, and that's only because gas prices are going up. And, we're all looking for a way to conserve fuel. And, the automotive manufacturers and the oil companies sure aren't going to help us in that department. Why cut into their profits? Not ever going to happen. Not ever going to happen, not only in this country, but probably throughout the entire world. Uh, I can say that the basic, what I know of chemistry, and I'm not a chemist by any means, shape, or form, but what I know of chemistry, if there's some way that you can extract the hydrogen from the water and get it to burn with the fuel, I would imagine that it's going to serve as an oxidizer or of some sort, and it's going to help burn the fuel more efficiently, which in turn is going to produce more power and better gas mileage. It makes sense to me. All right, whether it works or not is a whole nother matter. All righty, let's see. King of Chuck says, we've been car shopping for my wife, and I'm trying to get her onto the Tesla dealership, but she's reluctant. She loves Fords. Uh, Listen, if I were you, I would try and get around to the Toyota dealership, Chuck. I still say that the Toyota Camry is one of the best cars for your buck. They're well built, despite the issues. Every car manufacturer has issues, has recalls, and all that. But I think Toyota addresses theirs very well. They take care of their issues as best as they humanly can, and they build a good product to begin with. I know that when I'm going to look for my next vehicle, it's going to be on a Toyota lot. Okay, or definitely, I don't know necessarily a lot, but I'm going to be looking for a used Toyota. All right. I tend to believe in buying used because I don't like to pay up front on the front end, the depreciation of the vehicle. I'd rather take that in the back end. I better watch what I say here because I usually get it in the back end. It seems lately I have been anyway. Uh, but in any case, I'd rather buy a used vehicle that's already depreciated, a good deal, and save myself that money going into the purchase. Okay, if you're gonna, get any money back out of a car it's not on a purchase, it's on a sale. So keep that in mind. All right, and generally there's nothing to be made on a sale. You buy a car for its transportation abilities, maybe for its creature comforts and things like that, and that's what you buy a car for. All right. Yeah, I'm a Ford fan too, to some extent, Chuck, but quite frankly, Ford's quality is going downhill again. And I have a problem with that. I definitely take issue with it. I think Toyota, like I said, bang for the buck. Toyota is good. Honda is all right, but I think Honda is overrated and overpriced. And I don't care for Honda's transmissions. All right. Toyota does a much better job, especially in the CVT department. They've been manufacturing their CVT transmission and putting them in the Prius now for 20 years. And, that tells me that they've got it down to a science pretty much at this point, and that they build the better mousetrap, all right, so to speak. Okay. Ethan, thank you. I am. Yeah, smoking, if that's the advice you're giving to Chuck as far as the Tesla goes, yeah, I'd wait a little while until some more of the bugs are worked out. I mean, I think they're building a great product. I think it's a very pricey product for right now, but new technology always is. It always comes down in prices. More and more products are built. I mean, look at the personal computer and what it started out at in the price wise, and then what you can get a personal computer for now. It's ridiculous. I mean, you have more of a computer on your cell phone than the astronauts took to them in the space shuttle when they went to the moon. It's it's crazy stuff these days. All right, Mike Smith, it's Stuart Reed. That's what I meant. They produce a constant stream of hydrogen, feed it in through the air intake. Yes. Well, they're actually using that hydrogen in most hydrogen generators that I've seen. They're using them to power hydroelectric cells and converting that hydrogen into electricity. All right, and then using that electricity through an electric motor to power whatever it is that they're powering. Okay, so that's what I've experimented with. That's what I've seen, and that is the typical design setup. They're not burning hydrogen; they are using the hydrogen, by passing it through, a membrane and then producing electricity with it. Better boy, listen, I'm not going to. Maybe I will get into it a little later, but I'm not going to call him a POS or anything else for that matter. He does what he does. My eyes are wide open to it now. I don't agree with it, and I will have nothing more to do with him to support him. And I'm going to leave it at that for now. All right. Yes, I agree. He is a very lazy con man, and he should be ashamed of himself. As I've said in some of my other comments, I hope he has a great sense of pride, in all that he's accomplishing. And I say that very sarcastically. In a way, I feel very sorry for him. I think he's a very lonely individual who thrives on attention. And when he doesn't get it, he's like a little child throwing a tantrum. He also doesn't take criticism. He never could, never had, never will. And, it's a shame because as we get older, most of us learned that, there's nothing wrong with constructive criticism. In fact, it makes us better people for it if we open up our ears, listen, and pay attention, then try and implement it into our lives. All right. I've gotten a lot of good advice from many, many people along the way. I've not necessarily agreed with it all at the time, but I've always listened to it and I've always pondered it over and then, made my decisions from there. I mean, that's what adults normally do. All right. And, at that point, I'm going to move on to the chat. Yeah, would beast. What can I say? I don't tell anybody what to do with their money. We're all adults here. You do with your money what you want. It's your money to do with. And that's my belief. I mean, everybody's entitled to do what they want. And it's the beauty of our country is that we do live in a free society that enables us to do that. And as an American, I call myself a patriot because I do believe in that, and I believe that that's what the world should be all about. Is the freedom to make your own choices. Have I seen the new Fiat 500X? I no, I haven't seen it actually out there on a roadway yet. I have seen commercials about it. I hope soon to see it on the roads. Centre says Toyota seems to be taking the lead with reliability in the car industry. Honda is still pretty good as well. Yes, the new Civics are nice. I like the styling of them, but I still think the Toyota is building the better mousetrap. King of Chuck says we have two 1999 Hondas. The kids drive 175,000 and 223,000 miles per. Yeah, that's the kind of mileage you can expect if you take care of those Civics. My daughter has one. It's a 2001. I think it has about 180,000 some odd miles on it. She's still driving it. It was her first car. Dad helped her acquire it, and she's still driving it. She's had a couple of other cars, unfortunately, that she's had very, very bad luck with. She was involved in some rather nasty accidents, and unfortunately, those cars got totaled. Mike Smith, our car production industry is completely shut down. Wages too high to compete. Yeah, it's been a big part of the problem in the automotive industry is that the unions are pricing the automakers right out of business in this country and forcing them out. It's, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not a union knocker by any way, shape, or means. I mean, I was a school teacher. I was in the teachers union. I was a union executive delegate. And, I very much believe in unions. I think that unions are a necessary evil, especially in today's society where employers seem to just want to take advantage of employees and, throw you to the curb when they're done with you. And that's not right. If you're divulging or divesting yourself in a company and, investing years of your life, there should be something for you down the end of the road. Not a kick in the ass and tell you, hey, we've spent your pension away and you don't have one anymore. Yeah, diesels tend to be more mechanical. Yeah, the KISS principle works. KISS, by the way, for those of you who don't know, means keep it simple, stupid. All right. King of Chuck says, I don't think I can get away from modern computer cars for my wife. Need to take care of that lady. Yeah, I listen. Technology is here. Technology is now. We like our technology. We really do. We like having those backup cameras in our cars. We like having the automatic adjusting seats, which we can program to different drivers. Once hit a button and it goes back. We like having all the presets on our radios. We like having temperature controlled, heated, and air conditioned seats. We are a nation of people who enjoy their creature comforts, and that involves technology. And you're either accepting of it and embrace it, or you shun it. And, I guess the older we get, the more, we get caught up in the old paradigms and we don't want to accept the new ways of thinking. I know that I'm guilty of that, and I have to stop doing it myself. Just embrace it. I mean, this is what when we were kids watching the Jetsons flying around in our flying cars. This is what we were hoping for back then, isn't it? I mean, this is what I want to see. All right, I want to fly around in an automobile one day. I'm hoping. All right. Mike Smith says, secondhand is the way to go, right? Or try to avoid modern computer cars. Yes, Mike, I tend to agree with you. But don't be scared of the technology, Mike. It's getting better all the time. Yeah, Beta Boy, I agree with you. When I saw him, I'm referring to Carl now. Better Boy says getting a new laptop is nice when other people buy it. Getting anything is nice when other people buy it. All right. Most people work for a living, Carl. Okay. They don't rely on the generosity of other people to supply them with all of their needs and goods. Okay. Just because mommy and daddy took care of you in that fashion doesn't mean anybody else has to. And it's about time that you grew up and realized that. As I said before, it must give you such a sense of accomplishment, to and pride to take other people's money and use it for your own doings. All right. I know that I work hard for my money. I worked very hard for it all my life. Okay. And I have a sense of pride in what I have. I have a home, I have cars, I have motorcycles. All right. I have a good life. What do you have? Look around you and look at all you have. I have friends, by the way, Carl, true friends who will come to my aid when I need it. Not somebody who calls themselves a friend and when he finds out that his friend is in a hospital, can't even bother to pick up a phone. All right. Yeah, you're one hell of a friend. Why I haven't seen it beforehand, I guess I had my blinders on and I wanted to remember the good times that we shared. But Carl, you're not the same person you were back then. Not by any way, shape, means. You don't exist in that format to me anymore. You are an e-beggar, all right? And shame on you for doing it. Shame on you. I'm sorry, you got me going. But boy, you got me going. All right. I'm just disgusted. When I saw that grin, shit-eating grin on his face when he said he got his computer and he got his matching $1,000 from Jim Dolan. Jim, far from it for me to be to tell you what to do with your money. But Jim, John, I really think that you need to know the type of person you're giving your money to. What you do after that is your decision. You're a big boy. All right. I don't wish him any harm. Good luck to him. By the way, Carl, newsflash. You do an awful lot of scratching. You've got sores on your arms and your extremities. You're thirsty all the time. You complain about having to pee constantly. Carl, those are all signs of diabetes, by the way. All right. You claim to be healthy. You're far from healthy. You've been overweight your entire life. I'm sure you have heart disease the way you eat. All right. And now you have the on-site, I should say the beginning signs of diabetes. I really wish you a lot of luck, Carl. You're going to need it. All right. And you better look into getting some health insurance soon because you're going to need that too. All right. I don't wish you any ills toward you, but buddy, you are just, you know, I don't know. You're on your way to a major health event, and I've been through my share of them. I don't wish them on anybody, but be forewarned. All right. Smokin says my dad worked for Datsun, Nissan, and parts, and always said, "Wait until I figure it out." Yeah, that's what you have to do. The old Datsuns were great cars. I mean, they had issues with body rust and serious rust issues, but man, they built a solid car. Those damn things would run forever. I'm remembering back to the days of the Datsun D210. Back around 1974 to 76. Man, those cars just ran and ran and ran. You couldn't destroy those things until they rotted out from under you. All right. Today, not so much. The quality just is not there anymore. Yeah, Stuart, what can I say? The truth speaks loudly, and the truth also speaks for itself. If I'm confirming what you've always thought about them, then so be it. I'm coming clean because I'm guilty of having my blinders on and helping them, and I didn't see it when I was being taken advantage of. And I resent that at this point, that I was taken advantage of by him, that he still calls me a quote friend. He doesn't know what the meaning of the word friend is. He really doesn't. Friends to him are people that he can use for his own desires. And then when they're of no use to him anymore, he just discards them. And I hate to tell you, Carl, that's not what friends are. I have friends, Mike Smith says, that have water mixed with Epsom salt, current run through it from alternator, produces hydrogen, which feeds direct into air intake. Backyard jobs, but people swear by it. I don't know. Sounds a little dangerous to me. I wouldn't want to burn hydrogen. Using it to create electricity is a whole nother matter. I'm just going to let the answering machine grab that, folks. All right, let's move on in the chat here.
Sorry, this is Claire. We're not available to
Mike Smith, I try and have respect for everybody. I mean, I like to be treated with respect, so I treat others with respect. And that included Carl, until he stopped treating me with respect. And he doesn't deserve my respect.
This message is for Claire in Bergamo. This is to remind you of your Empire plan. Telephone appointment scheduled for Tuesday.
All right, enough of that. Anyway, let's see. Bill, okay, I understand you got to go. You stay healthy too, buddy. And all right, I'll say it one more time just for old time's sake. Good night, America, and all the ships at sea. Hope you enjoyed that one. All right, King of Chuck says later at you, Bill. Yeah, Woodbeast, yeah, you're very welcome. Opinions is all we have in life. Like assholes, everybody has one. Whether you agree with mine or not is, up to you. That's your opinion. And you are entitled to it, and I will fight for your freedom to practice it. Better boy, it's okay. Sometimes we all need to rant. I know that I've been doing a lot of that lately. I'm just fed up with the way Carl treats people, how he just assumes that, they will help him buy whatever the hell he needs. His next jaunt seems to be that he is looking for people to buy him a car. Damn, man, who the hell wouldn't want somebody to buy them a car? I know I could use somebody to buy me. I don't go on here begging, though. That's the difference, Carl. All right. If you care to donate to me, listen, my GoFundMe page is published. My PayPal is published. Okay, I'm not going to go asking for donations. That's entirely up to you, folks. It's your money. As I said, you're adults. You decide what you want to do with it. You want to give it to Carl? Be my guest. Just, inform yourself as to the type of person he truly is. And trust when I say that he is nothing but a low-life scumbag. All right, he has swindled more people out of more money than, as I have recently found out, very recently found out, that, all of that bullshit he was feeding me about how he reimbursed everybody is just that. It's bullshit. He hasn't reimbursed his goddamn soul from what I can see. All right, and I have people that will confirm that they have not been reimbursed. All right, ask some of those people that he swindled up in Alaska for livestock, whether they've been reimbursed or not. You know, what he's done is horrible. I mean, you're literally taking food from people's mouths. How can you live with yourself being that kind of person? You know, when you ran your real estate office in Port Washington, Carl, what you don't know is that my sister was personal friends of Hank and Cynthia, who I referred to in some of my rants. And what you did to them as a family is disgusting. Hank was working for you as an employee. You were taking health insurance payments from him, all right, and supposedly using that money to pay his premiums for him and his family. Well, when his son took ill and needed hospitalization for something that was very serious, they came to find out that you never paid those insurance premiums and they had no insurance. Something else, I guess, you can live with yourself for. All right, because you don't have a conscience, sir. You don't have a conscience at all. And how you can live with yourself and sleep peacefully the way you do, it just disgusts me. And you're still doing the same shit, ripping people off. All right. The Brooks always had to be better than everybody else, according to you. Your father wasn't that way. I don't know where the hell you got it from. Your mother certainly wasn't that way. They were down home folks that were farmers from Ohio originally, as you so like to point out. All right? Good salt of the earth people. I don't know where the hell you went wrong. But man, you got your chubby fingers on their dollars and you just blew through it like the San Francisco fires, man. You couldn't help yourself. Well, I hope that you enjoyed that money while you had it. I hope that it, you know, hope it didn't cost you communications with your sisters, but I have a feeling it did. I have a feeling that that's why Marianne and Terry don't talk to you anymore. All right. You ran out on your kids out in Ohio and left Johanna to fend for herself with those kids. Larry raised him and you call him a vegetable. Larry was a hero to our country. He served in Vietnam and he battles with Agent Orange disease now. And you sit there, live in his home, break bread with him, and then have the nerve to call him a vegetable. You recall Johanna calling me up here at my home that night? She was in tears because of what you did. Shame on you. Shame on you, Carl. You're nothing but a big bully. You always have been, and you always will. No, I didn't end up out of pocket helping Carl out, Mike. I didn't donate a dime to him. Wait a second, I take that back. The only thing that Carl got from me was when he busted the fuel line hose. I bought him about 8 feet of fuel line hose and a couple of hose line clamps. Cost me, I don't know, $12. That's the only thing I'm out of pocket for helping Carl out. Well, that and my gas, I guess, and my time, because my time and my gas, do have value to me. So I am out that as well, I guess. All right, but that's all I'm out. Do the Japanese car makers in the USA union-based? Yes, they are, Woodbeast. Honda is at their plant out in Marysville, Ohio. Toyota is at their plant in Tennessee. Unfortunately, when they're producing cars here in the United States, the United Auto Workers get involved and, the plants are unionized. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing at this point, I can't tell. I guess a good thing, for the workers who are working in these plants, not necessarily a good thing for the consumers, but, we have to abide by the way things are done. And that's just the way things are done, and if the union is able to, benefit their workers, then, more power to them. I'm all for that. That's what unions should be about, is to empower their workers. Todd Mills says, I once bought a Toyota Corolla for $150 or so. He put a new clutch in it myself, about $70, and then drove it for 40,000 miles before it finally died of rust. That's exactly what I'm talking about, Todd. Those old Toyotas, the old Nissans, you couldn't beat them. I mean, they were great cars economically. They lasted a good long time. The only problem is that they rotted out from under you. Japanese metal. What can I tell you? Yeah, Mike, I tend to believe that these days we are a generation of powder puffs. If this is what we're teaching our new generation, that it's all right to go on YouTube and beg for what you need in life rather than working hard for it, then society is at the last of its legs, I think, and we're due for a major revolution in this country. The government has been involved in the way we raise our children for way too long. I have always said sometimes a child needs a good kick in the ass just to get their attention and get them set straight. I don't believe in abusing a child or beating a child in any way, shape, or form, but there are times when they need to be set straight. And sometimes they're just too thick in the head to learn it any other way. We're no worse for it. That's for damn sure. In fact, I am grateful that my parents raised me with a sense, of wrong and right. I'm very grateful for that. They also taught me the meaning of hard work and the value of it. I think mandatory backup cameras on all cars are a very, very good thing. Have been way too many documented accidents of people backing out of their driveways and not looking before they back out and running over small children, that have been on riding toys or been behind the vehicles and so forth. It's a very tragic thing to lose a child in that fashion. So, yes, anything that you can do to improve your visibility to the back end of the car, yeah, I'm all for it. All right. Will people use it is the answer that I'm looking for. All right. Century says, agreed, Doug. When I buy something that costs over $1,000, I'll think about it for a year and still have buyer's remorse. Must feel great to get free money all the time. It must feel great to him. I don't know how I could sleep at night doing something like that. You know, I, it's just all the time, incessantly. I told him a long time ago, stop begging all the time. Those people who want to support you will continue to support you, but you don't have to go on every damn night asking for money. I mean, it gets sickening, and it is sickening. Yeah, as far as I know, JR or Brown, Junior Brown, he did lose all of his family's inheritance. I know of the two properties on Long Island and the property in Ohio that he lost by overfinancing it. I don't believe there was anything left for the sisters to divide up. Carl had gotten his hands on it and pretty much took care of all of that long before they were able to get themselves, vested into the picture. Uh, I can't say with certainty because I lost touch with Carl when he split, leaving his two sons with Johanna in Ohio. And he took off with an employee that he had employed for his cave tour business and the souvenir shop and the hunting cabins that he had and the stables. And, the list goes on and on, according to Carl, anyway. And that was Penny, by the way, and that's who he took off to Montana with and ended up marrying. I lost touch with him for all those years until I found him on YouTube, sitting in a cabin up in Alaska, getting ready to leave to head to Florida to get on a boat with Steve. And that's when I came back into the picture again. All right, and started talking to him via YouTube. I hadn't seen Carl in all those years until he arrived here on the Lily 2 in Port Washington Harbor. Whether his sisters got any money, I couldn't tell you. I tend to doubt it. Yeah, all of us, as far as I know, all the people I know, Mike, started out with little and we worked hard and saved and accumulated. And that's, how we got ahead in life. I mean, that's how people do it. That's the way I was taught that you do it anyway. It's a shame that so many people feel that they're entitled to so much these days. And, we've all made bad choices at one point or another. We pick up and we move on. That's what being an adult is all about. Some people just don't know what an adult is, or how to make an honest living, it seems. Don't be sorry, Beta. It's all good, man. It's all good. It's just that the truth is finally starting to come out, and I just feel that I owe it to you folks to tell you what type of person Carl truly is and how I feel about it at this point. And I'm sorry, but this is my opinion, Carl. Too bad that you don't agree with it. You never do agree with anything other than what you feel is right. And I don't think that what you're doing is right. That's all there is to it. I don't feel that what you're doing is right. I don't think you're any better than a beggar on a street corner. At least they have a sign up that says they'll work for food. What will Carl work for? If you call, doing these live streams work, I think you're sadly mistaken. I'm an any buffoon, myself included, am able to get on a live stream camera and conduct a live stream. There's no talent involved in that. The talent goes in getting content, putting it out there, editing it, and all that. And quite frankly, I haven't seen anything from you since you were on the canal. That's a long time ago, Carl. A very, very long time ago. All right, that was about the last decent content you put out. Better Boy, thank you for that. I appreciate your comment. Better Boy says one thing good from Carl is I found your channel and find it entertaining and educational. Listen, that's what I'm here to do. I'm hoping to help educate you guys in the areas of automotive repair and maintenance. That's what my field was, what my specialty is, what I went to school for, what I got certified in, yada, yada, yada. The list goes on because that's the way you do things in life. You develop an interest in something, you learn as much as you can about it, you go to school, you get an education, you get your certifications, and you go out there and you practice. All right, that's what it's supposed to be about. All right, Century says, I'm looking to buying a new Toyota Tacoma. What do you think about them? I think they're great. I think they're great vehicles. I think you should go ahead and go for it. Pop the cork. All right, enjoy it. Yes, please, folks, if you don't mind, hit the thumbs up button if you're enjoying this. You don't have to. I don't force anybody to do anything you don't want to do here. I'm easygoing. If you'd like to hit the thumbs up button, yes, I very much appreciate it. Yeah, Doug's pimping himself out. What are you worth, Doug? Well, my wife will tell you I'm not worth much these days. All right, too many medical issues. But, there are certain things that still do work. All right. Just keep that in mind, folks. It ain't over till it's over. All right. Oh, you're funny. Century at Beta Boy Elvis. Yeah, I like the look of them. I don't like the square look the GMC Chevy is doing. No, I don't care for GMC Chevy. However, I will take a GMC Chevy over a Ford pickup these days. I don't like the aluminum frame and the aluminum bed on the Fords. Okay, a lot of people have had problems with them when it comes to hauling heavy loads. They're not the heavy duty, work vehicles that we were once believed that and knew that they were. Yeah, smoking good. That's a good thing for Century to check when he goes for that Tacoma. I believe they've been using that setup now for quite some time. It's a pretty good setup, and engine tranny combo. So I believe it works. Yeah, the Raptor is pretty cool. But again, they're using that aluminum frame and that aluminum bed, and I just am not happy with that. I wish Ford would go back, to at least an all steel bed. The aluminum frame may not be so bad, although a lot of people have complained about it twisting and getting a lot of flex out of it, and that's not a good thing. But what are you going to do? Live and learn. Woodbeef says, bless you, Doug, for your opinion. So sad to see people part ways, but you speak from your heart. Do not let it go to you. No, in fact, it's helping me to get that off my chest. As I get more and more off my chest, I tend to feel like I can take that deep breath and just let go. It's very easy to give someone up when you realize that they were never your friend in the first place. It is sad. It bothered me a lot at first, but the more I think about it, as Carl always says, it is what it is. Yeah, it took me a while, Beta Boy. It really did. I didn't want to believe it, and I just put my blinders on and I tiptoed gently around him at first, but I'm done trying to tiptoe and massage his ego. He was always one that needed his ego massaged, and I'm not going to be the one to do it anymore. All right, somebody else is going to have to take over in that department. Mike Smith, I don't have a lot, but if you have a link in your description, I'd be happy to help make it that right. Mike, you don't have to. If you want to, that's up to you. If you do, of course, I'm going to tell you that I greatly, greatly appreciate it. Uh, but you certainly do not have to. Okay. I just want you to know that. Okay. But a boy, all of us is to century. I've had 5 Rams over the years. Driving an all-wheel drive Chrysler now, I sure miss my pickups. Yeah, I miss my Ford pickup too. I had an old Ford, F-150, good truck, rear-wheel drive. Just a good old pickup truck, a work utility vehicle. And I miss it a lot. Doug, amen on the hate in the USA. I pray for better times and people talk to solve issues. Yeah, that's what adults do. Anyway, we talk things out and try and work through our issues and, try and keep an open mind and be open to other people's thoughts and ideas. I mean, that's what diplomacy is all about, isn't it? Front cameras would be handy. Yeah, for some people, they might be. Yeah, as you can see, I'm feeling much better. It's good to be home. Like I said, I'm nowhere near 100%. I'm still taking antibiotics for this, and I don't know, it's some kind of an abdominal virus that I got, I guess, from when the cysts in my kidneys broke. But, I've been dealing with that for 30 years now. And, it's old hat. I know that anytime it happens, I've got to go on antibiotics right away or I'll end up with sepsis. Okay. Century says, I tried telling Rhonda, tried telling him and you, there's no getting through to him. No, there is no getting through to him. All right. All bow down to King Carl. All right. That's what he wants everybody to do is bow down to him, for he is the Almighty. He is the all knowing. All right. And it's a shame that a 60-year-old man still thinks that way. It really is. I see some more people coming on. Anka Fordolis, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Welcome aboard. J.R. Brown says, cave tour business and stables. Where did he get the money to start those businesses? Where do you think he got the money to start those businesses? He got it from his parents, and he overextended by overfinancing the farm, which is why his family no longer has it today. Okay? He claimed to me that the state foreclosed on it, and they took it back over and made it part of the state park system. Yet I've come to find out that there are numerous properties on that 300 acres that the family once had. The state doesn't do that. Okay, the bank does that. The bank will foreclose and then, try and subdivide the property into lots and then try and develop that property so they can get the most bang for their buck out of it. And that's what ended up happening there. Okay? Don't, I'm not buying into this bullshit that Carl gives me about, how, this bank officer kept offering him loans and loans and loans, and how he kept taking them and taking them and taking them until the property was so overextended that he couldn't afford the payments anymore, so that the bank could move in and with the state and acquire, his family's property. Carl, it just rings of bullshit. It really does. Do I know anything about the new F-150 diesel? No, but I know about the old 150 diesels. John Blundell, good to see you on board here too, buddy. All right. Smoking, thank you for reminding everybody to hit the thumbs up. Jim, as far back as I can remember, the last job that I remember Carl having, all right, was he took a bartending job after I had taken a job working in Columbus. The commute to Zanesville working at Amco for me was getting to be too much. We were going into the rainy and cold and wet season out in Ohio, and I had to find a place up in Columbus, and I had to do it quick. So I left the Amco transmission job out in Zanesville, Ohio, and I found myself a little apartment up in the Columbus area, actually in Worthington, the Dublin-Worthington area on Dublin-Granville Road up there, if you're familiar with the area at all. And I ended up taking a job with the Hilton Inn North Hotel as director of security. All right, I used my my hotel security experience from New York to get me a job as director of security for Hilton in Columbus, Ohio. And I worked at the Hilton North, and I also worked at the Hilton East. Yeah, the Hilton East. Okay, I was director of security at both of those hotels. So, Carl ended up getting a job in Columbus. When I was taking a job up there at nights doing security, Carl would bartend. And then Carl would come over to the hotel where I would try and stash him in a room that was out of order for a few hours until I got off work. All right. So, that's the last job I can remember Carl having. All right. Century, hi, you got your first Earth's like on this stream. You must be doing something right. Well, listen, teach their own. I still have haters out there that still feel that I'm aiding and abetting Carl. Let them think what they want to think. Time will prove them wrong. That's all I can say. As I said, I am finished with him. I think he's a lowlife. And, while I don't wish him any harm, he brings on to himself what he gets. And, like everybody else, I'm just waiting for the train wreck. That's, I think, why anybody watches this channel anymore, is they're just waiting for the train wreck. Yeah, I don't think he ever refunded anyone from that sailing with Grandpa nonsense. He also said that he's holding the monthly drawings for his patrons to come on board with him. Who the hell would want to get on board that garbage scow? I mean, really, there's no head on the boat, no working head anyway. I mean, really, who the hell would want to get on that thing? I think Lily wants off. By the way, she's not looking good lately. I don't like her muscle tone. I remember when she was here running around with my dogs and she looked good. She doesn't look nearly as good these days. I'm very concerned about Lily because she's just a poor dumb animal who doesn't deserve what she's getting. Let's see. J.R. Brown, there are a couple of knuckleheads here that directly and indirectly support Carl, and it's embarrassing to see the lack of awareness they have. Listen, everybody's got to make their own opinions in life. I'm not telling anybody how to think. I'm just putting the information out there. What you do with it is your business. Could I move my mechanical knowledge to marine diesel engines? What can I try and help you with? My knowledge of marine diesels is not that great, I'll be honest with you. I was never big into boats, but I was into tractors and heavy equipment and stuff like that. So maybe I can help you. What's your question? Yeah, seltzer provisions. Yeah, I think we all do. Yeah, I did lose a lot of dead weight that was bringing me down. I don't have that, on my shoulders anymore to have to carry around. Woodbeast, thank you for that. I appreciate your support. JR, thank you as well. In Australia, we're getting a lot of Chinese manufactured cars, licensed copies of cat diesels, etc. They look good, they are cheap and loaded with options. Time will tell. Yeah, time will tell, but I'd be very weary about, Chinese produced vehicles right now, I'd be very, very leery of that. All right. Brett Stevens says, Wood Beast, then you can run back and tell your master. Listen, do whatever you want to do. We're all adults. Figure it out for yourselves, folks. I know it took me a while too, and I'm not going to blame you if it takes you a while to do it too. Hi, Andrea.
Hi.
That's my daughter just walking in. Some of the issues that they're having with them is on the 4.6 and 5.4 liter engines. If they're not torqued into the cylinder head right and installed with,
Are you want to go outside?
Never Sees, it's very easy to strip out the spark plug holes when you're taking the spark plugs out. All right, so yeah, it seems to be the problem that Ford is having, primarily with the 4.6 and 5.4 liters. You'd love a Holden. Woodby says, I'd love a Holden with a V8. Yeah, you can put me in for one of those too, buddy. I happen to like those as well. Billy Boy, how are you? Good to see you on board. All right. And Mike Smith says, I offered, you didn't ask. Hey, Billy's in the house. Weight loss going well. Doug, one of my brothers passed away at 49 because he kept everything inside. Always good to vent. Yeah, it's good to get it off your chest. There's no sense of me harboring all that tension inside, especially, as physically ill as I am, I don't need the additional mental strain. It only brings you down and makes you worse off physically. So to hell with that. Like a Coyote, as a person who's given Carl money, I will just say this: if you guys don't want to support him, don't. But stop following him in his channel. Yeah, I tend to agree with that. If just stop following him. He's not worth your time nor your effort. Yeah, there's so many better things to do with your time than watch Carl.
Cardi, come back in. You want a cookie?
Okay. Doug, Carl just uses people, and when no longer useful, deletes them. Yes, I found that to be very true. Wood Beast, you got smacked the F down by your master, still aiding and abetting. All right, listen, he's a big boy. He's an adult. He's entitled to do what he wants to do. All right, I'll never knock anybody for that. But, be aware of who you're doing it for. Wood Beast, Mike Smith says, the Pontiac has a direct copy. We use the V8s in highway patrol, but I like the Fords better, particularly the 6-cylinder turbo. Yeah, that was a nice combination. It really was. The 4.2 liter 6-cylinder with the turbo, with the Roots turbo, for an intake on it. Yeah, that was a nice setup. Not the most boost for the buck, but it worked. It worked. Yeah, we're all waiting for the train wreck, Beta Boy. It's inevitable. It's inevitable at this point. Century, I don't know why you retracted your message. All right, but all right, it's that's entirely up to you. Biker Coyote, you better get used to digging in your pocket. I don't think Biker Coyote supports Carl in that way. Yeah, the Chevy S was a Holden with a Corvette engine. Yeah, basically. Yeah, unfortunately, listen, I'm not the only one that fell for a scam. There's a lot of people that fell for a scam. And that's why I'm out here talking about it now, to try and educate people to stay away from them, or at least know what kind of person you're involving yourself with. All right? It's, what he's done to people just isn't right. And he continues to do it all these years later. Yeah, he can buy all the $1,000 Lincolns he wants. There's my advice. Woodbeast, I appreciate that. Okay, and I'm not bashing you, buddy. I really am not. I'm just trying to, like I said, make people aware of what kind of person Carl really is. Yes, he will, Biker. He's definitely, moving rapidly down that track. Thank you, Gavin. I'm glad to be home. Yeah, when the suckers buy the car tugboat, unfortunately, because Carl doesn't buy anything. He lets everybody else buy it for him. Not much torque. We had an SRT8 Chrysler. That was impressive. Yeah. Thank God for Brembos. Yeah, thank God for Brembo brakes, boy. You know, it's not that hard to get them going, but man, you got to be able to stop them once you do. Brett, I'm glad to hear you're not going anywhere. I hope nobody's going anywhere. Guys, let's just keep it cordial, please, amongst ourselves. You know, be adult enough here to realize that everybody has an opinion and everybody is an adult here, and everybody's entitled to do things the way they want to do. Okay. As I've said before, though, just make a decision knowing full well, you know, what that decision involves. Started to say incision. It's almost as painful, isn't it? No, they're not doing Carl any good. You know, all I've said before, all they're doing is enabling him. You know, but, you know, if that's what you choose to do with your money, then so be it. I'm sure there's a distinct smell on a boat. Between the dog and Carl, I mean, it's got to be a real sick state. Yeah, she is looking sickly and sad. I agree with you. I don't like the way the dog looks at all. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's his next ploy, is to get the dog sick so he can say, oh my God, I got to get Lily to the vet. She's sick. And he can extort, you know, more thousands of dollars. You're supposed to take care of your dog in the first place, not wait until she gets sick. You know, for me, it was a very sad week because not only did I lose, you know, Carl as a friend, and it came to that realization, you know, I also lost my dog that same week. And, you know, for me, that was a bit heartbreaking. You know, it still breaks my heart when I think of my, you know, my Abby. She was such a sweet dog. You know, she was a rescue. I had her 8.5 years, gave her a great home, and she was active right up until the very end. The vet told me that what happened is that she had a genetic defect that went, you know, didn't go diagnosed. And all of a sudden she started to bleed from her heart, and there was nothing more that could be done except put her down. So that's what we did. Yeah, I think so. At this point, I think, Stuart, you're absolutely right. I think most of the people watching Carl are just watching to see what he gets away with. Yeah, this is very true, Mike. I mean, Century, you know, what can you do? Some people, you're right, they just keep taking the blue pill. Watch for counterfeit NGK spark plugs on eBay. Okay, that's the first time I've heard about that. Yeah, she does look terrible, Lola. You know, she really does. You know, it's a shame. It really is a shame because she's such a sweet dog. Yeah, I think he saw Doodles and Delos and all those channels getting big bucks. And, you know, Carl's mentality has always been, well, whatever other people can do, I can do better than they because I'm better than they are. And, you know, that's truly his mentality. It has been his whole life. And I truly think that he thinks that he can do, you know, anything that anyone can do. You know, how's the song go? I can do anything. You can do better. That's Carl. Okay, that's Carl in a nutshell. Wood Beast, you do whatever you want to do, buddy. You're an adult. You know, more power to you. Jim, be nice, please. Okay, Jim? We're adults here. If that's what Wood Beast chooses to do, you know, more power to him. You know, if you choose not to, that's your decision and more power to you as well. You know, I've come to the decision that I'm not helping him anymore. I'm done. Yeah, I'm afraid Lily is becoming a prop for views. Yeah, Snarl the Crook, the ICW Nigerian pirate. That pretty much sums it up. What What's my thoughts on switching to synthetic oil? All right, there's a few questions that need to be answered first. How old is the car? How many miles? Do you have any oil leaks now? Okay, start by answering those questions and I'll be able to answer yours better. Yeah, I agree. If you don't have money for food, necessary required treatments, such as heartworm, flea meds, you don't have to go on and beg for it. Get a job. Get a job and work. It's so rewarding to work for your money. Try it sometime, Carl. You really don't deserve to have a dog if you can't afford to take care of her. I've seen you beg way too much for stuff for your dog. I mean, it really is sinful. It really is. Steve's vids, yeah, I'm doing much better, Steve. Thank you. Peaceful Don says, I bought an 89 Camry, one owner, new condition. What do you think? I think you made a good decision. I think you made a very good decision. Okay, this is starting to get, a little nasty here, guys. And, I've been on well over an hour now. So I'm going to think about packing it in. If anybody has any more car questions for me, feel free to answer. If not, I am going to give it about 2 more minutes, and then I am going to end this stream for today. Okay. Complicit is the word for the day at this point. There's such a huge volume of evidence about his scamming that supporters no longer have an excuse. Glad you're home feeling better. King of Chuck, Google Chevy SS. Carl did one thing right. He picked you as a friend, and he introduced you to us. Well, thank you very much there, Biker Coyote. I feel the same about you guys. I mean, if Carl did one good thing, it's that he started a few different good communities of good people, such as yourselves. So, I will give him credit for that. Okay. Yeah, it's tough losing a dog. I've lost 2 of them at very, way before their time. The last dog I had to put down before this one was only 5.5 years old. He was an American Staffordshire Terrier and just a beautiful dog. But he contracted leptospirosis, and I actually was giving him dialysis treatments for 1.5 years before he finally succumbed to his ailments. All right, listen, I'm not going to get into name calling and all that. That's a little below me, and I'm not going to do it at this point. I've said what I'm going to say. All right. Yeah, it's sad whenever you lose an animal. They're part of your family. They definitely are. And, all I can say is that, she's no longer in pain. She's no longer suffering, and she went very peacefully, and very easily, in my arms. I mean, I was sitting there stroking her head, the whole time, and she went very easily. So I'm grateful for that, No leak, 2014, 22,000 miles. Yeah, go ahead and switch over to the synthetic, no problem. As long as there's no leaks, okay? Synthetic oils tend to be a little bit thinner in viscosity, so if you have a leak, the leak may get a little worse. That's why I ask about those types of things. But yeah, it's a late model car. It's only got 22,000 miles. Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and switch over to the synthetic. Should be no problem. Just make sure you're using the same viscosity oil that the car manufacturer recommends. Okay, and that the oil meets all of the API, which is the American Petroleum Institute specifications that, the car manufacturer's engineers want. Okay, those are given right on the bottle of motor oil. Yeah, I'm feeling better. Thank you very much for that. All right, Ceiling Slipstream, thank you very much. Mike Smith says Camrys are great unless they're left to sit or low kilometers. They don't. Anything that's left to sit is going to be a problem. It's a machine. Machines like to be run. Yeah, it's a little confusing, to be honest. I think it's refreshing is more like it. You know, they say the truth will set you free. Yeah, I know I have a lot of supporters, and I appreciate that so very much. Yeah, he got his free laptop. Next is a car. I'm waiting for all the new quality content now that Sausage Fingers can edit. Yeah, I'm not, because I'm not watching them anymore. I'm done. Like I said, you know, it's the same stuff day in, day out, constantly and incessantly, and it's just plain boring at this point. You know, I'm sure I'll hear about the train wreck when it happens. You know, it's inevitable at this point. Thank you very much for keeping me in your prayers, Lola. Thank you for that. Thank you again, everybody. I appreciate this. Listen, I'm going to wrap up at this point. Okay, I'm just working my way to the bottom of the chat here. All right, I will keep up the streams, folks, and I will continue to improve Garage Talk with time. Like I said, I think I'm going to be pulling my mechanic into this production, so you know, we can make it bigger and better, and you can get more of your questions answered. You know, always two heads are better than one, they've always said. No, I didn't mean to slam anybody. I'm just telling things the way they are, and to the best of my knowledge, okay? That's all I can do, okay? I'm not trying to slam anybody or anything like that. I'm just telling people the way things are. All right?
What is that? Is that your phone?
No, he won't, because I'm not going to be there for him.
For once, they saw her grab it and then she
Yeah,
ran
you'll
out
see
and
me
she
on the
still
YouTube
can't.
trail. I don't care. You know, let him report back to whomever he wants to
This lamp
report
is
to.
haunted.
You know, I just don't care anymore. All right, everybody, at this stage, I'm going to wish you all a good week and good night.
It
All
wasn't
right.
gravity. That's
Until
how I
next
just like to
week,
turn on
Sunday at
myself.
5. Have a great
I
talk,
want you
folks.
to
Happy
watch
motoring.
what goes
Good night and God
inside.
bless. Bye-bye.